From severe gluttony to insane levels of greed, here are 7 celebrities that perfectly embody the 7 deadly sins. Starting off with pride, which DJ Khaled perfectly embodies. A great example of his frail ego was his reaction when his album Father of Assad failed to reach the #1 spot on the Billboard 200 in 2019, being beaten by Tyler the Creator's Igor. Khaled, who expected to dominate the charts with a star-studded lineup featuring artists like Beyoncé and Travis Scott, was visibly furious. He went on an Instagram rant, seemingly throwing shade at Tyler's more experimental album, dismissing it as mysterious music, while boasting about his own album being real and being filled with big tracks.
I make albums so people can play it, and you actually hear it. You know, driving your car, you hear another car playing it. You know, go to the barbershop, you hear them playing it. You know, turn the radio on, and you hear them playing it. You know, it's playing everywhere. It's called great music. It's called albums that you actually hear the songs. Not no mysterious shit and you never hear it.
The fact that Khaled couldn't secure the top spot wounded his pride deeply, especially since he built his brand on being a chart-topping mogul. Tyler later commented on the situation, saying it was like watching a man die inside, as Khaled's entire identity was tied to his success in the industry.
It's fun. It was just watching a man die inside because the guy that, you know, the weirdo was winning. I was moonwalking in a wig. This nigga had everyone on his album. Everyone. It's like, oh no, this bridge gonna work. I'm not in the barber shop. I'm not at the club. I'm not skitty. I'm not in the back of the Maybach. Right? And he's not wrong. But like, that sat with him because his whole identity is we the best, we the #1. When the underdog to him took that away from him, nigga ego was deflated.
His brash behaviour, obsession with being #1, and inability to gracefully accept defeat are hallmarks of excessive pride. But if there's any sin more disgusting than pride, it's lust, which is perfectly embodied by P. Diddy. Sean Diddy Combs' disgusting lustful relationship with sex, exploitation and drugs has faced him with numerous sexual assault and sex trafficking allegations. Several lawsuits accuse him of manipulating and exploiting women in what were referred to as freak-offs, fueled orgies he allegedly organised. The claims span decades, with some of the most prominent accusations involving his former girlfriend, singer Cassie. She accused him of forcing her into degrading sexual acts, and even claimed he threatened to blow up rapper Kid Cudi's car after discovering their relationship, a threat that coincided with a car explosion.
The surveillance footage that was captured inside of a Los Angeles hotel in 2016 allegedly shows Combs assaulting then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a hallway. A now-settled lawsuit filed by Ventura claimed that she was trying to leave the hotel after a drunken Combs punched her. The video appears to show Combs chasing her down the hall, throwing her to the ground, and then repeatedly kicking her.
In addition to Cassie's claims, a woman named Adria English sued him for sex trafficking, accusing him of forcing her into prostitution at parties, where she was passed around to influential guests. But the most heartbreaking accusations come from Liza Gardner, who filed an amended complaint in 2024, accusing Combs of raping her when she was 16 years old. Gardner alleges that in 1990, Diddy and fellow musician Aaron Hall took turns raping her after plying her with alcohol, an assault that left her physically and emotionally broken, leading to heavy public outcry and rage. Speaking of rage, Ellen DeGeneres perfectly embodies the deadly sin of wrath. Allegations of her being a mean and angry person surfaced through various reports and personal accounts. Former employees and insiders claimed DeGeneres was not the kind-hearted persona she portrayed on her show.
Toxic, phony, hypocrite, liar. That's what she is. We were told from the very beginning, don't talk to Ellen, don't do this, you can't, go into her office. It was very nerve-wracking, very stressful. We all walked on eggshells all the time.
Accounts suggested she could be cold, dismissive, and even verbally abusive to those around her. One viral Twitter thread invited people to share negative experiences working with her. I was instructed that I can't look her in the eye and never ever say hi to her first. But don't worry, she definitely won't be saying hi to you in the first place. She creates the most toxic environment for her staff. She has a sensitive nose, so everyone must chew gum from a bowl outside her office before talking to her, and if she thinks you smell that day, you have to go home and shower. The situation escalated during the pandemic when crew members accused her of abandoning them without communication about their jobs, wages or health safety, only a month later announcing her employees are getting a 60% pay reduction, which would be the worst news in the world for Taylor Swift, given she perfectly perfectly embodies the deadly sin of greed. One of the most prominent examples from the billionaire is her decision to pull her entire catalogue from Spotify in 2014 after Spotify denied her request to have her music subscription only, as she, quote, wanted to protect the value of her music and encourage her fans to purchase her albums instead of listening to them for free. She refused to let her album 1989 be available on the platform until a more favourable payment model was in place. A year later, she took a similar stand against Apple Music, threatening to boycott the platform by removing her music because the company didn't give royalties from those using the free trial. Swift has also been accused of using marketing tactics that play on fan loyalty to maximise profits. For example, she's been criticised for releasing multiple versions of the same album, each with exclusive content or artwork, forcing collectors to buy multiple copies. The promotional clock for Midnights, where fans needed to purchase 4 albums to complete the design, was seen by some as exploitative. These business decisions, along with her massive re-recording project of her albums after failing to reach an agreement to purchase the masters to her first 6 albums, have led to many to label her actions as driven by financial greed rather than pure artistic passion. Not to mention, this woman pumps out more than 1,100 times more emissions than the average person does annually. That's nearly 100 years worth of fuel shat out in just 30 days of Taylor's typical lifestyle. Anyway, if there's anyone who probably envies Taylor Swift's level of greed, it's probably Meghan Markle, who is the embodiment of envy. One prominent claim is that she harboured jealousy towards Kate Middleton, her sister-in-law. Royal commentators such as Ingrid Seward have suggested that Meghan was incredibly envious of Kate's elevated status and lifestyle within the royal household. Meghan reportedly expected to live a more glamorous royal life, but found herself living in Nottingham Cottage, which she and Prince Harry once described as a hovel compared to Kate and Prince William's grand residence. Additionally, some suggest that Meghan was envious of Kate's close relationship with Prince Harry. Before Meghan's arrival, Harry and Kate shared a bond that was often publicised, and this reportedly caused Meghan discomfort, as she may have felt left out from the royal trio's previous dynamic. Many have pointed out instances where Meghan seemed to compete for the public spotlight. This behaviour has further fuelled perceptions that Meghan felt envious of the attention Kate received. All of these attacks actually reveal that Meghan is insanely jealous of Kate. I believe she is having one long public psychotic episode, but I guess at least Meghan is putting an effort to try and be more like Kate. Unlike Vin Diesel, who's apparently too lazy to do anything, allegedly being dumped from his own team because of his poor work ethic. Vin Diesel perfectly represents the sin of sloth. One of the most significant examples comes from his public feud with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Johnson openly criticised Diesel for his work ethic, calling him out for being lazy and referring to him as a candy ass on social media. Diesel, as both an actor and producer, was reportedly frequently late to set. Dwayne was always on time for shooting. It was Vin who would often show up when he felt like showing up. Dwayne is the complete opposite. Johnson expressed his frustration over Diesel's lack of commitment, which was said to have heavily slowed down production, leading to Johnson and Vin Diesel to shoot scenes separately from one another, while the other one's not there. According to reports, he would often delay scenes, expecting the rest of the cast to accommodate him. But a celebrity which often accommodates themselves with excessive indulgence is the one and only Ozzy Osbourne, who perfectly embodies gluttony.
Are you sober now?
No, yeah. I'm never, but
Ozzy Osbourne's long history of substance abuse and alcohol overindulgence is a classic example of gluttony in its most extreme form. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, his addiction to drugs like cocaine and alcohol reached Olympic levels, often leaving even other rock stars in awe of his consumption. Black Sabbath bandmates, including Tony Iommi, spoke of how recording sessions would grind to a halt because of how intoxicated the band, especially Ozzy, was. His excessive drinking and drug use eventually led to him being fired from the band in 1979. Ozzy's own accounts reveal the sheer scale of his indulgence. He has admitted to buying kilos of cocaine weekly at his peak, and once remarked that cocaine made him feel as if he'd found the meaning of life. The excessive lifestyle even began to take a toll on his performances, with his voice often damaged by alcohol and drug abuse. Although his wild ways seemed unstoppable, Ozzy survived thanks to a rare genetic mutation that made his body more tolerant of drugs and alcohol than most. His long battle with gluttonous indulgence stands as one of the most legendary in rock history. Thank you all for your amazing comments. We've gained over 50 subscribers from the last video, which is so unbelievable to me. I've been reading all your comments, and they absolutely warm my heart. You guys are legends. Love you all.